Let's get to our conversation with Matt Jioio. He is the principal at Marion Center High School and kind enough to join us this morning. Conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. You get to these days, Matt, when you get the big snowstorms and a little bit more than we had been anticipating, and it makes it necessary to close. And school districts can now choose to close and go virtual or close altogether. There are a lot of issues that go into it. Primarily, can the teachers actually get to the building safely in order to teach virtually? What went into the decision today?
Well, this one kind of took us by surprise, I think. I know that Mr. Weimer's working on trying to do remote days. In our district with our connectivity issues, if we went remote, I don't think it would be synchronous. I think it would be asynchronous where students would work through their Google Classroom or through a packet that coincides with that assignment in Google Classroom, just because of the amount of students that are having connectivity issues, along with our staff having connectivity issues. And I know, there's a lot of different models. Like, do teachers come in? Do they not come in? We certainly don't want to risk anyone's lives by having them travel when it's inclement weather like this. And this one really took us by surprise. I wasn't expecting this at all.
Nah, well, they said 1 to 2 inches of snow. It just all came at the same time. We got the entire dump right at the start, and obviously that makes it difficult. And one thing that people don't really think of or consider maybe properly is the fact that we look at 119 and 85, the two primary roads that you're traveling in the Marion Center School District, and we assume that if they're in good shape, that all roads are in good shape. But there are a lot of secondary roads and even dirt roads within your district.
Absolutely. Our students are back in there, and anybody that's been through the Marion Center District, knows some of those roads, and they're just probably impassable right now.
Yeah. So making the wise decision, the safe decision for Marion Center today. So let's talk a little about the start of the second semester. Now you're about a month into it and headed pretty rapidly. This second half of the year goes really, really quickly, does it not, toward graduation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started having those conversations last week. We started talking about lining up a graduation speaker, starting to plan things like the prom, whatever that may look like, or, graduation, indoor, outdoor. We're still under the 10% capacity gathering rule. And hopefully, with the numbers getting better around the county and the state, I'm hoping that gets lifted.
Yeah.
So it doesn't restrict us a whole lot as far as our events.
We saw how adaptable your district and the others were as well last spring in order to get graduation in. And plans can change on a moment's notice. But I know that you'd love to be able to plan for a traditional graduation ceremony. You'd love for it to be indoors if possible. But you got to remain flexible in everything now, don't you?
Yeah, this is one, through this whole process is one thing that really has taken me out of my comfort zone. If anybody knows me, I like to have structure and I like to have consistency. And this has shown me that don't try to get ahead of it, because by getting ahead of it, you're going to get behind. Because things change and you can't be prepared for everything, but you got to be able to roll with some things.
Yeah.
Now, much like graduation.
At the beginning of this month, Marion Center announcing it changes in order to get more kids into the school buildings. How has it gone this month?
It's gone very well. We're on a new type of hybrid right now. It's 4 days a week. Some students that are really struggling with the online atmosphere, we're bringing them in 4 days. So our building's at pretty much with the 6-foot social distancing, it's maxed out right now. But, we're always working to try to get these kids back in school, whatever that may look like. It's good news that IUP made that announcement, that things, there's some hope that things may get back to normal very soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that'll be a welcome change. I mean, I don't even know if, we kind of remember what it was like.
Yeah, it will seem strange when people are able to get back together and maybe even take off the mask. And that everybody's so anxious for it to happen that sometimes we get a little bit complacent and maybe we take the mask off a little bit early. I'm assuming that everybody is on board with it now at Marion Center. However, that every once in a while somebody has to say, "Hey, pull that mask up over the nose," and things like that.
Yeah, we're constantly. I mean, that's a variable that that we're trying to deal with. everybody has been great with the masks. I think we're getting used to them, along with being very sick of wearing them. But we just realize that it's part of what we have to do to be in the building.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. I'm hoping that we can get the kids back at 100% soon, and we can go from there while remaining safe. I mean, we've been pretty fortunate at Marion Center as far as our quarantines and our positive cases. So that gives an indication we're doing some things right.
Yeah. School life goes on meanwhile, and especially we think about the seniors who are wrapping up their scholastic careers, and certainly not in a way that they would have dreamed of maybe 12 months ago. Maybe they were just, 12 months ago we were just getting our hands around what was going to be the new reality. Your seniors, talk about them and the various issues that seniors go through at this time of the year. A lot of them are, preparing for college, the end of their high school careers, and they're getting set. They're taking competency exams and certifications and lining up scholarships and all of that. Are they able to do that as easily now as they once were?
Well, I don't think the timeline has changed on any of that stuff, Todd, especially SATs and all those types of things that they have to prepare for college for, and AP exams and things. But, we're trying to do the best we can because we don't want these kids to have a lapse right before they have to go to college and be behind with having limited access to the academic courses needed for college. So we're trying to prepare them as best we can. Our counselors are great, working with the kids, getting everything lined up for them, keep them on a timeline for SATs and college applications and things.
It's interesting you say that because at the hearings a couple of weeks ago, the state system of higher education appearing before a couple of committees of the Senate and House, and they raised that point that they anticipate that the high school students, the seniors from last year and the seniors that are coming in and will be in college next year, that they're going to have an educational gap compared to their predecessors simply because they've been a year and a half, 2 years on remote learning. And so the colleges are going to have to step back a little bit and maybe boost up some of the classes that they might have learned in high school. And some of that knowledge is going to have to be sort of a booster shot for them.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to look at that, Todd. One is they could have a learning gap to the traditional college setting. However, as well as I do, the colleges have gone remote also, which takes a whole other skill set to be able to work remotely, through online courses. Now, these kids are pretty adaptable at that because a lot of them have surpassed the staff with their knowledge of computers and their online capabilities. So they do have that skill set, which, I struggle with because of, just being old, I guess. But
Matt, the kids in second grade are better than you and I are at it.
What's that?
I said the kids in second grade are better than you and I are at it. We're both.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, my kids at home, I say, hey, can you help me with this? And they take my phone or my computer away from me and fix it. And I didn't learn anything, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. But that, it's something to consider when you're thinking about education and making sure that you're preparing them for the next level.
No, absolutely. I mean, because, the next level, there is going to be some online things that they are going to have to do just by the nature of what we've been through, I think.
You also are getting ready for spring sports and
2 weeks.
Moving outdoor.
Yep, next week.
Next week,
March 8th.
What starts?
We start spring sports start. Baseball, softball, track.
You're an optimistic guy, aren't you?
Hey, we'll be inside, Todd, but that's when the official start date of the spring sports are.
All right.
As I look out my window, I don't foresee baseball, being played for a while, but
no.
We're gonna start training.
I know the school board tonight is going to be considering a number of volunteer coaches for baseball and softball, and so you're getting ready for those sorts of seasons. And as you said, prom and all of that. Those prom discussions must be pretty interesting.
I tell you what, I mean, I'm trying to get the kids the best experience that the society allows me to get them. And I know their passion. They want to be together. They want to get together and have some sense of normalcy. But I'm trying to make that happen the best I can. When you talk about spring concerts and musicals and proms, all gatherings, things of that nature where we're going to have
Yeah.
to adapt one way or another to get the kids the experience of these things.
School trips too. Those are part of the.
Oh yeah, we got senior trips that typically happen in the spring. What that looks like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
we'll be talking about all those things, and the kids have been great in understanding, knowing that I have limitations of what we can do, but they also know that I'm willing to work with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's going to be amazing what they come up with, because the students are going to have ideas that are going to make you say, wow, we hadn't thought of that, but let's see how we can make it happen, and if we can make it happen.
They absolutely get creative.
Yeah, and that's good news. It keeps them engaged, and that's really, really important. Teachers holding up well, custodians as well, because they have so much extra work to do. Everybody's good?
Yeah, I think that we're trying to stay optimistic. We're trying to be safe for the most part, or for everything. But I think that we're holding it together. Everybody wants the kids back, but we want to do it in a safe manner, the safest way for our students, staff, everyone. So, trying to find that balance and the timing of it. I think the numbers are looking good, and I think that's optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that ICTC is doing what they do virtually in terms of school visits. We talked with Kelly Fox last week about that, and so new ways of doing things, but you're going to get them.
Yep.
Going to get them done.
Yes, we're working towards it, and hopefully, if we keep doing the right things, we'll be back to what we do best, and that's teaching kids.
Terrific stuff. Terrific stuff. All right, very good, Matt Jioio. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Todd.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.